Hi, I'm Flarf, and I make things. Today, I want to talk about how hard it was to make these three guys show up on screen at the same time. I'm making a game for the Game Boy called Magnet Mike, and to have its top-down magnet-based combat be legible, I needed the characters to be pretty big. Big for the Game Boy, at least. This is Mike, the protagonist. He's 16 pixels wide and 24 pixels tall, which is the average amount of space a character takes in my game. Little did I know how much pain and suffering this little decision on this big sprite size was going to cause, and how it would take 2 weeks to resolve it. If you've tried to purchase electronics any time in the past few years, you've probably come face to face with the global RAM shortage. Other than increasing the price of your new laptop, what does RAM actually do? Put simply, RAM is a computer's short-term memory. It's where data lives while the machine is actively using it. Part of this area is called video RAM, or VRAM, and it handles graphics that the computer needs at any given moment. The average consumer-facing gaming PC has 8 GB of VRAM, which is more than enough to display complex 3D graphics. The Game Boy has 8 KB. That's roughly 1,000,000 times less, and not even enough to display those stupid memes your mom sends you every week. So, with that in mind, how on earth was I supposed to get Mike and 2 enemies to fit on screen at the same time? The fix was in something called tiles. Instead of displaying one large image, the Game Boy displays tiny 8x8 or 8x16 pixel tiles. These tiles are then duplicated and arranged to create full backgrounds and sprites. The Game Boy has 256 tiles total that can be loaded at any given time. Of this pool, 160 must be used for backgrounds, and up to 96 can be used for characters and objects. When we started putting characters in the game, we counted it up, and of the 96 tiles used for characters, Mike takes 50. That's like over half of it, just for Mike. He had a lot of animations. He had his classic idle, walking, and hit stun animations, but he also had separate animation states for when he uses the magnet gun. The main reason Mike took up so much space was because of how large he was. A classic Zelda sprite would only be 16 by 16 pixels, which is 2 tiles per frame. Because Mike was so large, he took 4, twice as much. When we finished animating the enemies, it didn't look much better. The plumber took 50 tiles, and the shooter took 41. Obviously, this wasn't going to work out. But then, I had an idea. What if we just reused the same tiles on multiple frames? So all 3 of them fit in 50 now. Me and Gorzilla went back and forth on how to best optimize the characters, but ultimately it came down to this. As you can see, half of the plumber's face is missing. That's on purpose. Turns out that you can just straight up flip the tiles horizontally. On Mike, we had the silly idea of using the same legs for the up direction of the walking animation as on the down. And you know what? It just works. Oh, and you remember all those extra animations Mike has? This is all the tiles needed to represent them. Oh, and random thought. Why does the shooter look like Michael Jackson? I swear this was a coincidence. Overall, I'd say the main thing I've learned from this experience is that anything is possible if you remove half of somebody's face. If you'd like to follow the development of my little Game Boy game, consider subscribing and follow me on itch.io